Off for a quick walk, and I thought I'd tell you about something that's funny. A couple of days ago, I posted a video which was entitled "Are You Weak?" and somebody who's weak must have been triggered by it because they submitted a complaint and managed to get the vid taken down. I then appealed because I'd watched it myself. I thought, well, maybe I made a mistake myself. Maybe I did say something that would break the guidelines. But after watching it, no, I hadn't. So I've appealed it. I've also want the provider to investigate who's made this malicious complaint. Anyway, what I want to say very quickly is to the person that did it is that you're a fool. You think that you can say, oh, he said, this car's white, but this guy really thinks it's red, or, this bloke's talking about a ship, but really he's referring to a car. You can't do that. You can't say that he said X, Y, Z, but then he's really talking about something else. Anyway, so really stupid. Two people who've possibly done it. One of them is the chancer who did the fraud with the bounce back loan, and then the other one is the GP who's probably made in excess of 100 grand from his compliance with the narrative. So anyway, it's in the Bible again, isn't it? Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So it's got nothing to do with me. I just find it quite funny. But I did come across this in the Bible as well recently. So it's from the book of Proverbs, which I thoroughly recommend. It's a very, very interesting read. So this is chapter 30, verse 20, and it says, "Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness." And this is what I'm seeing now with some of these people is they think that they've done nothing wrong whatsoever. And as many other people have been saying, and what I was saying months ago, is that if they're given half a chance, they'll do it again. I think it was the video that I did called Are You Done With Small Talk? I did it in the summertime. And stand by every single word of that. Because they do show no remorse whatsoever. And that tells me that they would support the same type of, let's call it what it is, Nazism. And, at the moment they're just a bit bitter that it's not worked out as well as they hoped it was going to do for them as individuals. So, I'll just tell you this because, again, I found it quite funny. And I suppose a lot of it comes from, my own skills as a teacher, actually. When I was a teacher, one of the really good things that I was good at was asking questions, that made people think. So I said to this guy, this is the chancer, I said to him, so what do you think you gained from going to the concerts? And wow, his face, it just shut. The wind went out of his sails. It was amazing to just actually watch it. It was like something else. And then the other one that I'd said to him as well was, I asked him, how many times have you been to the concerts? And he wouldn't tell me. Now, what those responses tell me is that he, deep down, I'll just change hands, my hands are getting tired, is that he doesn't believe the narrative either. Because if he did, he would answer my question. Well, question one, what did you gain from going to the concerts? He'd say, well, of course, my health. I might not be here if I hadn't gone to the concert or concerts. And he would have had no problem whatsoever in telling me how many concerts he'd attended. he'd have been quite, do you remember when they were really keen to tell you, as soon as they'd been to the concert the morning after, they would be, in the early days, they would be euphoric about it, wouldn't they? Well, this guy certainly wasn't euphoric about it. He just looked defeated, basically. Defeated and resentful. Yeah, that's it, resentful. But yeah, this is how it is, isn't it, And I suppose the other thing that's coming to my mind now is that just some people they just have a self-destructive streak, don't they? They do things that harm themselves. And I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's like 100% true. In commonplace speech, people talk about their demons. And, I think that's not an exaggeration. I think it's quite an accurate description of what afflicts many of these people. These demons that are inside them, they encourage people into adopting patterns of behaviour that are self-defeating for themselves. When I met up with this guy, I'd not seen him for years, and I told him exactly what was going to happen back in what it would be like November 2020. Told him everything. You can actually look back at the videos that I've made on my channel, and you'll see I've called absolutely everything. So I was expecting him to sort of say, call me naive, but I was expecting him to say, you were right, should have listened to you, blah, 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 blah. But no, he was in like double down mode. He was angry. And, I'm sure he'd have liked to have come over and come to Finland and had a free holiday, but he's lost that now. So, yeah, that's all that I want to say, really, is that, and the other thing that I would say is, I don't think we can do any more. We have warned these people. We've not been to the concerts ourselves, and I think that's all that God has expected us to do, basically. Not go to the concerts ourselves and speak the truth and try to warn other people. And we've done that. Nothing else really we can do now. My own personal feeling is, as I keep on saying, I don't hate these people. I've got no hatred for them whatsoever. But by the same token, I've got no desire really to engage in small talk with them or go for a drink with them. In retrospect, it was a mistake on my part to go for a drink with them, because I should have known, really. I suppose I've got too much faith in humanity that I've never had a problem with accepting that I'm wrong, and I expect others to just sort of hold their hands up and say, yeah, I got it wrong. But, this guy and some of the others that I met, they're still in deep denial. But what I can say is that from the way that they answered my open questions, they know what's going on and they are worried. But what can you say? It's just too late now, I think. Oh, the last thing that I would say to these people, if they do happen to be watching, is you need to apologise. This is very, 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 very important. In fact, actually, I'm glad I've thought about this, because there was somebody who wrote some stuff on my channel, and they said something like, oh, I only went to the concert to protect my partner. Sorry, not having that. Don't believe it. All the data was available. That Princess Diamond boat and all the rest of it. The data was available. The body bags were hardly building up at the end of my street, and they weren't building up at the end of anybody else's street either. So I'm sorry, we're not entertaining that nonsense at all. So anyway, this guy on the comments, I just asked him, like, so are you going to at least say sorry for your compliance, your willingness to comply with this agenda robbed my son of his GCSE year. There's many kids who haven't recovered from having their educations disrupted. There was people that couldn't say goodbye to their parents. Are you at least going to say you're sorry for that? Because I think that's the very least that you can do, is just say that you're sorry for the harms that your compliance caused. And again, it goes back to this quote from Proverbs, you know, this adulterous woman who eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. It's like these people. They would do it again because they have no remorse for what they did. And as I've said before, these people, I don't hate them, but they are dangerous because they think that they've done nothing wrong. They're so morally corrupt. You know, like the guy's claimed a £50,000 bounce back loan. He doesn't, you know, his whole life is a lie. He would just do stuff like that and think nothing of it. He'd just think he was being smart, morally bankrupt. So what's my solution when interacting with these people? Well, the answer is not to. I don't hate them. I just don't really want to interact with them. There's nothing to be gained from it. What I would advise them to do is to apologise, not just to me, but to God. Far more important to apologise to God for what they've done. Beg forgive. You know, we're made in God's image. So there's all that stuff in the book of Genesis. If you've not read it, you need to read the book of Genesis. So the Nephilim contaminated the human beings that God created in his image, and that did not go down too well with God. And God wanted to destroy these hybrids that the Nephilim had created. These Nephilim were fallen angels, basically. So what's it Mark Twain said, history doesn't repeat but it rhymes. Well, this would be an example of it, because I think the people that went to the concerts, you know, well, I'm not going to say too much about this now, but, you know, if you do your research about the type of concerts that they weren't they weren't just regular concert tickets, were they? They were something special. And I don't think God would approve of these particular type of concert tickets. Anyway, that's all that I want to say. Sorry if this has been a bit rambling, but I'll be back next week with some more, so God bless.